Hey little firecracker, baby, tell me where have you been? I've been searching far and wide for you. You didn't call her right, tell me what's this boy to do? You walked out the door without a word. Now the sun's coming up over Main Street, and I ain't got a clue, 'cause the sun's going down over me. When I close my eyes, I still can see your face. Still hear the way you'd say my name. But I bet you, darling, I bet you my last breath, I still could find you in the dark. But now the sun's coming up over Main Street, and I ain't got a clue, 'cause the sun's going down over me. It's only shadows, only ghosts of me. They'll haunt me no matter what I do. But now the sun's coming up over Main Street, and still ain't got no clue, 'cause the sun's going down over me. Over me. Hey.
Okay, hi guys, welcome to another Tone Twins video, and this week it's a real pleasure to introduce or reintroduce a good friend of mine, Joey Landreth. Hi Joey.
Hey Ed, how's it going?
Yeah, really good, thanks mate, thanks for catching up with me again. How about tell us your top 6 tips for tone. Where would you start?
Top 6 tips for tone. Number 1 would be explore your control or your tone controls on your guitar. So your volume knob and your tone knob pack such a massive punch, you know. I think that's probably the most powerful thing you can do, is especially if you use a lot of pedals. The second that you change your how much output is coming out of your guitar, or you change how much top end is coming out of your guitar, it totally changes how your pedals react. So that's number 1. Number 2 is use your fingers. So drop the pick for a minute and milk some sounds out of your hands. I think that's actually kind of a big thing for me if I'm trying on a new guitar. The first thing I do is I play it with my fingers, and I kind of get a feel for how much brightness the instrument has, how it responds. I get a better picture of kind of who the guitar is when I'm playing it with just my fingers instead of a pick. Not that I think playing with a pick is a bad thing, not at all, but I just think you kind of get a better idea of who that instrument is. And also, you can really change the way something responds by how you're playing it with your fingers. Number 3, tone tip number 3 is don't be afraid to roll off some of the bottom end of your amp, especially when you're playing live. I mean, in all situations, I think we all love that big, fat, bassy tone. But what I've discovered is that in live situations and in recorded situations, a lot of times all that bottom end just creates problems. It can obscure what the kick drum and the bass sound like, depending on how low your amp is going, and recorded in a mix, it can also do the same thing. It can take up a lot of space, and it can also rob a lot of energy from a track. So I kind of get my amp sounding to where it feels the best, and then I roll the bass back about 15 or sometimes even 20% depending on the room. So that's
Cool.
that's one thing. Number 4 would be
Yeah.
explore. Is that where we are? Number 4?
Yeah, number 4.
Okay.
We're doing well.
Explore the order of your pedals. So if you're using a couple drives, or maybe a fuzz and a drive or a compressor or something like that, it's going to have a drastic effect on the sound based on where it is. For me, my ideal order for things is, fuzz, drive, fuzz, boost, then drive. But if I'm using a compressor, which is something I almost never use in conjunction with a fuzz pedal, almost never. But if I am using a compressor, I'll use it early in the chain because I don't want it to pick up the extra noise from the overdrive pedal or from a fuzz pedal. So I'd rather that the drive and the fuzz see the compressed signal and then bring it up rather than the other way around, because a compressor is going to bring up the noise floor quite considerably. That's something that I would suggest for live, not necessarily true for recorded, because you're going to do a certain amount of compressing after the fact, when you or whoever is mixing the recording is mixing. So obviously that's not a hard and fast rule, but that is definitely something that I recommend. But yeah, explore that. Like if you put a reverb before an overdrive pedal, it's going to sound significantly different than if you put it after. The overdrive pedal will act as a bit of a compressor and will bring up the reverb tails and do some kind of wacky thing. So there's some fun things that come from that. It'll also make it sound a little more mid-rangey, so it'll cut a little bit more. Number five is have good cables. You don't need to spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on a cable, but don't or dollars or pounds or euros or shekels or whatever your currency is.
Yeah.
But don't buy the here in Canada we'd call it the loony bin, like the dollar store. Don't buy the discount bin cables. They often are like you can hear how bad they sound when you put them in line. They also break down a lot quicker.
And I was going to say, yeah, they break. It's a false economy. If you're doing gigs and stuff, they break all the time. A good cable lasts for years and years.
Yeah, absolutely. A good cable lasts forever. If I can add an amendment to that, if you get yourself a soldering iron and any of your cables go down, you can fix them yourselves. If you are going to do your own soldering, I would recommend also not cheaping out on a soldering pencil. Get a good soldering pencil. Get yourself some nice wire clippers, and do clean work, and everything should go well for you. And then the last tip is kind of maybe this is more of an amendment of rule number 5, but a good power supply. You spend the money on a good power supply. It's going to give you good clean power. You're going to get a lot less noise, and it'll help your pedals run optimally. So those are my, I don't know, 5.5 or 6 top
Joey's top tone
rules.
tips.
Joey's top tone tips.
It's a whole new
like
section of the show. We'll have to think of 6 more every week, dude. It's going to be hard. Okay. Okay. Top 6 guitars you've ever played.
Top 6 guitars I've ever played. Oh boy. Well, this one, my Sorokin is one of my favorite guitars on the planet, bar none.
It's killer.
It really is killer. Probably your 54, Ed. That guitar is special. Ed has a 54 gold top that just blew my mind when I played it in Guildford. I played a 58 gold top or 57 gold top at Carter's. There's a video of it. I think it's 57. That was very, 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 very special guitar.
Any non-gold ones?
Any non-gold ones? Yeah, a pre-war Martin OM, I believe it was. Nice. Owned by a buddy of mine who runs a recording studio in Nashville called Layman's Drugs. Lehman Drug Company. And he's got a really impressive guitar collection. And one day I was in there playing a solo show, and I needed an acoustic guitar, and he brought in this pre-war Martin. It was like I can't remember what it was, 30 something, wow. 1930 something. Yeah. And it was easily the nicest acoustic guitar that I've ever played. And then, you know what, the other one, which is also not gold, is I have a Collings OM1 right now that's on loan for the album, and it is absolutely stunning. So I think where am I at? 5 there?
5.
3 gold tops, 2 OMs. What else? Oh, there was a 20s resonator that I let walk out of my life in my early 20s. It was the first time I went to Nashville, and I was there on a writing trip with the band that I was playing with at the time, and I had the day off, and I went down to Gruhn's Guitars back when it was still on Broadway in Nashville, and I walked into the acoustic room, and there was a old metal body National. I actually think the model was 00 or OM. It was like a smaller body, and I had $2,100 in my bank account, and the guitar was $2,000, and I played it. I couldn't stop playing it, and I was down there on this trip for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and I'd already been there a week. I can't remember how long I'd been there, but all I knew is I had 1 week left, and I kept thinking, can I live for $100? Can I live for a week off $100?
I don't need to eat.
It was like, I mean, I could eat cheap. I could just eat at the Waffle House all 3 meals a day. So I said to myself, okay, I'm gonna walk out of the store, and I'm gonna come back tomorrow, and if it's still here, I'm gonna buy it. And if it's not, then the universe has spoken. And so I walked out of the store and came back the next day, and it was gone. So that was number 6. And you know what? I mean, realistically, I have a Mule resonator now, which is probably 1,000,000 times better than that guitar. But there's just that story. The story, yeah. And it was kind of like the first time I walked into a music store and played, some old guitars, because there's not a great vintage shop in Winnipeg, so I'd never really played anything super old and super vibey. So it was like my first time. So I think there's probably part of the story. It was probably a dog, but anyways, I digress. That was one of the ones that got away.
Cool. Okay, thanks very much. We'll end on this one then. The top 6 albums that have influenced you as a musician, as a guitar player, tonally.
That's tough. Definitely.
Save the best for last.
Yeah, definitely Stevie Ray Vaughan, Texas Flood, followed by Live at Carnegie Hall. Those 2 records were incredibly important to me as a guitar player. Then followed by Robben Ford, Handful of Blues. And also, I'll make an amendment to number 3. Also, the self-titled Blue Line record. Those were really, really important records to me. Mike Landau Live 2000 as a guitar record that I had never heard a guitar sound like that. And also his vocabulary was very, very much what I aspired to be before I had kind of really heard what I wanted to hear. Before I'd heard what I wanted to hear out of my own playing, and I heard Landau play, and he had this this deep harmonic vocabulary, but also played kind of like Hendrix and Stevie Ray. He just had this aggression, and I'd heard guitar players do that aggressive emotional playing, and then I'd heard people do very sophisticated and I don't want to say cerebral, but I'd heard that, but I'd never heard anybody really marry the two until I heard Mike Landau. So that was really, really special. And then probably Ry Cooder, Get Rhythm, with honorary mention of Bop Till You Drop. Those are my 2 favorite Ry Cooder records. Yeah, geez. Oh,
got to get some Little Feet in there as well.
Yeah, Little Feet Down on the Farm. That was a really big record when we were growing up. God, I could keep going on and on and on. But
yeah, I know.
But yeah, as a young guitar player, those were the things that really got me started. Something that I've gotten a real kick out of lately is going and listening to my heroes. So, and I've talked about this guy before, but one of Ry Cooder's big heroes was this fella named Joseph Spence, who is like a gospel singer, guitar player from the Bahamas. And there are recordings of him like in the 30s, and there's just, you can hear the history of Ry Cooder's rhythm guitar playing, like the way that Ry plays, like that kind of thing. You can really hear that in Joseph Spence's guitar playing. So that's something that I've really gotten a kick out of listening to and going back and listen. Like I'm really, really a big fan of the Sacred Steel slide guitar playing. So, Aubrey Gent and the Campbell Brothers and many, many others. So, yeah, it's hard to name the top, but those first 6 that I mentioned, those were the ones that got me first when I was a kid.
Okay, well, thanks very much, Joe. Where's the best place for people to head to check out your back catalogue, merch sales? I know a good thing for you guys, keep you going. Where's best for you to go?
The best places, the website, joeylandreth.com and thebrotherslandreth.com, and also our Facebook pages and Instagram pages. Those are the best places to get us.
And you can stream all of the music on the usual suspects, Spotify, Amazon, all those other things.
Yep, Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music, Tidal, we're on all of them.
Excellent. And yeah, if you can pick up some, you guys do great vinyls. So I know you kind of artworks kept in the family. I believe it's right. Dave's wife who does most of your artwork, or all the artwork on these things?
Yeah, absolutely. My sister-in-law Roberta has done the artwork on everything that we've done.
So yeah, go and check these things out because they're worth having. Really good stuff. Okay, thanks very much for swinging by, and we'll catch you guys again soon. Thanks very much.
Hey little firecracker, baby, tell me where have you been? I've been searching far and wide for you. You didn't call her right, tell me what's this boy to do? You walked out the door without a word. Now the sun's coming up over Main Street, and I ain't got a clue, 'cause the sun's going down over